Hey Team FBN, this is the video we promised on the features, functions, and how-to of the market pillar. First and foremost, get logged into your Compass program with the details you were sent earlier today or earlier this week. And once you're logged in, you can immediately go directly to the market pillar. As we discussed on today's call, it does work independently from the other pillars. However, there is one connection that I didn't mention on today's call. We'll get to that in just but a moment. Let's take a look across the screen and what you're seeing. Summary is the original page we saw all of our growers, yields, and percentage sold of the different crop varieties. We're not seeing anything here because currently we don't have any data entered. Let's take another look at what else there is here. Admin. This is where all the setup is going to be between the crops and varieties, the growers, and the buyers. Reports is your exportable reporting. Grower deliveries, and you can filter, as well as grower summary, and you can filter. Now, Compass is giving me indicator. We have no market data to report on. The last filter we have here is the export for everything. Also, going back to the summary page, you'll notice here there's a drop down that says filter data by year. You are capable of putting future years in, as well as past years, and really utilize this pillar for all your needs. Let's go ahead and start some of the setup, and I'm just going to work my way from top to bottom through this menu. First, I'm going to go to crop setup, and I'm going to set up a couple of different crops. I've already got a couple set up in here, but let's go ahead and show you how easy it is to actually add a crop, and we'll add a couple more crops and varieties here. I'm going to click Add Crop, and from the drop down, you're going to select your actual crop. Let's go down here to barley, and let's put in a different kind. We're going to have our Bentley. And you'll notice that it's already put in a bushels per metric ton. However, we have left this box editable as we have been made aware that some crops don't necessarily follow an industry standard for a conversion. Some could be denser or lighter. So you can always modify that as needed. You can also select the maturity, whether it's early, mid, or late, and how you want to default the yield. Now, I will caution you, if you pick weight, it's going to only ever give you weight alternatives if you want to edit this variety. If you pick volume, same principle applies. However, you can add the same crop and variety with two different measurements. Let's go ahead and we're going to add that one in. So now we've got a second barley. Let's add one more crop, and for this one, we're actually going to change that default bushel to metric tons. Alfalfa, and we're just going to call this feed for quick purposes. And this one harvests a little heavier, so it's not 36.7, it's actually 37.7. This will affect the math when we move forward, but we've added it. And now if I ever need to change one of these, I can always click the pencil icon. I can come in and change any of the available metrics I've already selected. Keep in mind, if I've selected volume, I'm only going to be able to pick an alternate volume to change it to. If I've selected weight, I can switch to another weight. Most handy is being able to come in and change this information or change up the variety or your maturity. To update the information, just simply click Update. Compass will then actually alphabetize everything so it's easy to find in your list. So now we've added some crops. We're ready to go ahead and add some growers. Again, I've pre-added a few different growers here, but let's take a look at what it takes to add a grower and what you can do. Mandatory information is highlighted in red, so you do have to give the grower a name and at least select a province. Let's go ahead and we're going to select Alberta, and we're going to add Jim's Big Farm. And we've got another grower. That's as simple as it is to add a grower. Again, the same principle applies anywhere you see the pencil. You're going to be able to go back, edit, change, or modify information, or even delete the grower right from the system. Next down on our list is buyers. Now, when I said the Compass Market Pillar does work independently, it does have one connection, and that connection is to your growers' existing buyers that they may have already added in the Contracts Pillar. So if your grower has specific buyers that are already added to the Contracts Pillar, let's just flip over there very quickly. Underneath the crop contracts here, we can add all of our different buyers, and that's where that list you're seeing there comes from. So when we go back to the markets pillar and go back to admin and buyers, we may already see some of those buyers available. Adding a buyer is very similar to adding a grower. Again, we're looking specifically for the name and province. The rest of the information is completely optional. Once you've entered in what you need, click the add button and you've added another buyer. Now let's take a look back to the summary page and how are we going to get those yields from our growers added? That's quite simply just going to go to the middle button here where it says add crop yield. From there, I'm going to select my grower from the drop down. I'm going to select the crop, and again, these are organized by the crop and then the variety alphabetized. I can pick the year, whether that's for future or for past years. And for right now, I'm just going to focus on adding 2022. I can indicate too if this is a silage product. It doesn't allow me to make it contract available, but it does show me what the grower has harvested and has stored as far as silage product goes. Let's track the acreage, 1,500 acres. We got about 98 bushels an acre, and Compass automatically does the conversion to give me the total metric tons. You can also, on this page, actually edit the bushel yield factor, and then refresh, and it'll recalculate everything here as well. Let's go with the estimated expenses. You don't have to fill this in, but it is a handy feature. And we've now added a harvest for this grower. And immediately we're brought right into the yield page for this grower, showing me all of their different yields, as well as the ability to now add contracts for those different yields. Let's go back to the summary page though quickly and take a quick look. We now have something listed. Hancock Haven Farming. They have alfalfa feed, and we're 0% sold on it. To get to the page we were just on, I'm just going to click on the name of the farm, and we're right back in. There we can see the crop yield. We had alfalfa, feed variety, 1,500 acres at 98 bushels an acre, gives us a total metric tonnage of 3,894.659. Currently, we have no contracts in, so we're 0% sold, 0 bushels per acre sold, and 0 metric tons sold. To add more yields for a specific grower, you can choose two ways. You can do it from the summary page and go add crop yield, where you select the grower and then the yield. Or once you already have a single yield or multiple yields in for one grower, you can literally click them here and then go add yield from directly in the grower. The only difference between the two is doing it from the summary page, you have a drop down to select the grower the yield is for, and doing it from directly inside the growers page, you're only going to get the option to select the crop and varieties. Let's go ahead and we're going to add some Bentley barley, 2,500 acres. We got 110 bushels an acre, and we add that yield. Instantly, we can see we've got our barley Bentley there. Just going to refresh our page quickly, and now we've got the option to add contracts for those different yields. So let's focus on the next step. We want to build some contracts and pre-sell some of this crop for the growers, or even post-sell. I'm going to go ahead with the barley Bentley, and I'm going to go add contract. Now it's automatically defaulted to the crop and locked it in for the 2022 year. We can put in what contract type that is. And I believe in this box you get about 50 characters to enter in your details. You can pick the month that contract comes due. This is May next year. And you select the buyer from the drop-down. What's the sale date? When did we make this actual? And what's the buyer contract number? Again, this is alphanumeric. You can put what you need in here to track that contract number. Now, I'm going to choose whether this is a quantity in metric tons or bushels. Let's go first with metric tons, 1,000 metric tons at $12.50 a metric ton. Now, if I want to see what that converts to in bushels, we can easily change that once we've actually set the contract. So let's go ahead and add any notes we have. We get 5,000 characters in here to add any notes we want, or 4,000 characters, sorry, pardon my French. And from there, you're going to be able to add any notes pertaining to this specific contract that you would like. So your futures, your hedge, anything else you need in there to help this grower towards that contract. This can easily be modified later on. You can come back and change your notes. Let's add the contract, and right away we can see there's our contract for 1,000 metric tons at $12.50 a metric ton, which now instantly translates to we are 16.7% sold of our quantity in stock. That works out to 18.37 bushels an acre out of the 110 already sold, and 1,000 out of our 5,987 metric tons. Now I did mention you could see the conversion from bushels to metric tons, and that's once we've already created this, we can literally come in here and convert to bushels. So the amount we have in metric tons, 1,000 metric tons, is actually going to be 45,930 bushels, which works out to a per bushel sell price of $27.22. Once we've actually created the contract, we do have an opportunity to come back into it and actually upload any document we'd like to this. Now, it was designed for you to be able to upload a copy of that grower's contract right and have it attached right here, but you can upload any sort of file type as long as it's 7 to 10 megabytes. Once you've uploaded what you need, you just click Update, and it's re-updated into the contract. Let's add one more contract here, and then we'll take a look at some of the data exports that are available. And we're going to make this one for 250,000 bushels at $19.50 a bushel. Right away, that tells me that that is 6,623 metric tons at a metric ton price of $736.01. Going up to the top, we are 170.7% sold, total of 166.67 bushels, or 6,623 metric tons sold of our 3,894. So you do have the ability to oversell in the system. Let's take a look at some of those data exports, but first let's go back to the summary page. And now that we've added some contracts for this grower, right from the main page we can see our position and where we're at as far as percentage sold. It will organize the crops that you add and the harvests in alphabetical order in here as well. All right, let's take a look at two of the datas under reports. The first is grower deliveries, and you can use the filters up top to determine exactly what data you would like to see. I'm going to switch very quickly to another account that's got more data so we can look a little bit more at the filtering we can do with the reports. All right, I flipped accounts very quickly just so we can see what kind of data filters we can do with the reports. So first we're going to go back to that grower deliveries, and we can select a specific delivery month, and Compass will isolate out the information that matches. You can select multiples, all, or whatever combination you need. You can also select different years if you have multiple years of data entered, a specific crop or crops, and you can select a specific grower or growers. This can be really handy if you want to send a specific grower all the information. And you can even isolate by buyer. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to select 0 filters here, and I'm going to go Get Excel, and let's take a look at the data that's contained within. So the first thing you're going to see is this is just based on deliveries. What is delivering when and for which farm? Very basic information for you to track there. Let's go ahead and we're going to go to the second export we have, which is the grower summary. This is going to give you a lot more data and information to be able to work with your clients. And again, we can select a specific year, a specific grower, and a specific crop if we want. In this case, I'm just going to leave none selected so it gets me everything. And again, I'm going to do the same with all the growers. I'm going to click Get Excel. and instantly Compass spits out all the pertinent matching information. You'll see here tab 1, it's got all the different growers, and it mimics that summary page with my percentage sold of all the different crops that have been entered. Below in the filter section, you can see how we got this information. So we filtered by 2022, these growers, and we generated this information at this time. If I go down at the bottom, we've pre-organized tabs for each one of your growers. So again, if you isolate a specific grower, you could instantly send this right out to that grower as their current positions. But you can also export everything and be able to send that to your manager for overview. Here we have our estimated 2022 crop yields, total metric tons, percentage sold, and bushels per acre sold as well. And then we have our different contracts listed, including any notes we've added. Remember, this is 4,000 characters. It will be quite extensive. As we go through, we can see all the different farms and where we're currently sitting position-wise. The last export we have available is the data export. And this is literally going to allow you to pick a specific year, grower, or leave it blank for all, and be able to send all this same information out to Microsoft Excel with every detail you've put into the system. And that includes your different grower IDs, their crops and varieties, the acres, yields, bushels to metric ton factor, as well as any contracts, crops, growers, and buyers you have in the system. The last thing I'd like to point out with the markets pillar is when you have growers that want to use the Compass program, we're going to be able to connect them to your account. Meaning, when you want to work with a specific grower outside of your market pillar that you have access to, you're essentially just going to go here, click change location, and you'll see a list of your connected growers' farms here, and be able to click and go directly to their different farm and see the data that they have available. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this has helped. If you do require more assistance than this video was able to provide, I strongly encourage you to reach out to your AGI Compass support rep. And don't forget, all of their information is stored under Farm and in Contacts. You can easily get a hold of any of our team members or dial our 1-866-278-9530 number to get any member of the team and book an online session today. Thanks for your time. We're excited to work with FBN and your clients and help everybody be the most successful they can be on their farm. Stay safe and healthy, and have a great day.